In the midst of the COVID-19 outbreak, several agencies are doing all they can to ensure that people have enough to eat. Rachel's Table, a program of the Jewish Federation of Western Mass, has partnered with other organizations to distribute food. Jodi Falk, the director of Rachel's Table, spoke with me recently to explain more.
So the mission of Rachel's Table for the past 28 years has been to reduce food waste and alleviate hunger. And we do that through over 200 volunteers, bringing food from restaurants, bakeries, supermarkets, caterers, anyone who has leftover, unused, still good food, and delivering it through the volunteer cars to soup kitchens, pantries, after-school programs, senior centers, whoever is needing food at this time.
And so how have you modified in light of the COVID-19 pandemic?
So obviously this is a very unprecedented event, and we are modifying every day. It's a new game every day, right? So our mission stays the same: try to feed as many people as possible. The sad part is the food insecure are getting more vulnerable, and those that are vulnerable are becoming more food insecure. So the work is still very necessary. At the same time, how do we also keep everyone safe? We have, like I said, 200 volunteers. Many of them are in a very vulnerable age bracket. So the last thing I want to do is put a lot more people out in the community right now when we really should be staying home, and a lot more people who could be very vulnerable to this virus. So we're partnering more with organizations like the Springfield Rescue Mission and the Salvation Army Rehab Center, both in Springfield, who have trucks and who are helping do some of our deliveries, so some of our volunteers can stay home. We're trying to have a less amount of people in the street right now, and more food still to be delivered. So right now it's the game is partnership. We're also trying other things like online food registries in Walmart and Target, and places where we can invite our folks to buy food for people and have it delivered. So we're trying many creative ideas. Necessity is the mother of invention, or whatever that saying really is, and that's what we're doing. We're pivoting. That's the word of the day, to really try again to bring as much food to people as we can.
How is it working with the restaurants? Because I know many of these restaurants are just really, finding this so difficult during this shutdown. How is that relationship continuing to work out?
Some of our restaurants continue, and obviously not dine in, but they're takeout. So we take some of they still donate to us, and we'll pick up curbside and deliver to our agencies. So some of those are the more chain restaurants like Longhorn and Outback. We thank them very much for continuing to donate. We also have Delaney's that we still work with. So some of our restaurants are continuing the way we have. Of course, many restaurants are shut down, and therefore we have less of those food sources available to us. However, we're beginning to think about partnering with restaurants who are doing curbside pickup, to ask people if they want to donate a little extra towards our agencies every time they buy food. We're going to partner with restaurants to see if we can make banks of that kind of donated money to then bring that forward to buy food for our agencies. So we're it's, again, figuring out ways to work in different ways with these restaurants.
And what are you hearing from places like the Survival Center in Indian Orchard about the need?
Well, the need is, of course, still very great and growing. And everyone, including the Survival Center and Springfield Rescue Mission, everyone's working with trying to be as safe as possible to still work with a population that is incredibly vulnerable. So some agencies have shut down. That's true, and the ones that are open are seeing more people because the need is still there. So people are going to go wherever they can find the food.
Okay, and also I know that this is especially difficult for families with children. Many school districts are providing meals, but this is just a particular challenge. Your kids are home. There's more people during the day that you're looking to provide food for as well.
That's right. It's right. It's again, that every day is a different scenario in terms of how do we help today? Like, wake up, how do we help today? And in a way, that's how to get through this time, to keep strong with our mission and to stay safe and to be, to just figure this out. I'm really grateful that the schools are stepping up, and there's so many places truly that are stepping up to provide those bagged lunches, to do as much grab and go options as possible, and we're supporting that as much as we possibly can as well.
What are you hearing from other nonprofits? Obviously, the economy is taking a hit. Small businesses are taking a hit. Restaurants, as you mentioned, nonprofits would be included in all of that because it's difficult to ask people to give when maybe they're not working at that moment. How are you handling that as you move forward?
Well, that's the question of the hour. First of all, Rachel's Table's mission has always been like get the food out there. So as long as we still do that, we feel like we are doing what we're supposed to do. Of course, we're always asking for donations because that is helping us at this time purchase food like milk and protein for our agencies. So as much as people are certainly afraid in these economic times of what they do or do not have or what they will or will not have, people also are very much wanting to support each other. And there's the flip side of that is that we're in this together. And I'm seeing that there are people who are willing to say, you know what, I might not have what I had yesterday, but I have more than somebody else. So here's something. So I feel like for that, we're grateful that I think when we're doing good service and we're doing work in the world that makes sense, we'll survive. We'll figure this out. And certainly we accept monetary donations in order to keep our work going. And yes, nonprofits are, we're in a tight squeeze like everybody else.
You mentioned a little bit about, every day you kind of have to figure it out. And I think everybody is in that same situation. This is just uncharted waters that we are in and just unprecedented times. You mentioned that you're still having people, surprising you how much they are willing to help. Is that something, especially in the work that you're doing and the mission that you have, is that something that kind of gives you hope as we move through these very uncertain times?
Well, yes, I think, we'll have people who say, I want to, as soon as we're ready, I'm going to get out there and the volunteers want to be doing this work and we want to keep them safe. So we're finding the ways that can happen and we can restart. We get calls from people like just the other day was a bunch of Girl Scout cookies that didn't get sold. We want to give it to you. I mean, it's Girl Scout cookies. It's not the most protein filled food, but it's still someone saying, I don't need this. I don't need to sell this. I need to donate this. So we get a lot of stories that I can share that warm my heart, that say, we're good people. We can find good people.
Yes, and we're in this together.
We're in this together. We're actually also we have this race coming up. And of course at this point it's probably a virtual race. We call it Outrun Hunger. It's every 2 years, and we're thinking of instead of a race, it's really how do we all stay healthy through this time? How do we all get up and exercise? And how can we do this and stay connected? And so we're finding ways to also just not only serve people by serving food, but how do we stay sane together? And how do we do this so that goodness inside of ourselves can still be there? If we take care of ourselves, we can also take care of others. So we're going to be sending information out about how do you join our virtual exercise and race so that we can both feed people and also feed ourselves and take care of ourselves.
And that's coming up May 31st, if I recall.
That's May 31st, and I think we're going to be opening that up to kind of an exercise and virtual race even before that, so that people can, we're all, if we're home, like I am in my remote office with my son, homeschooling as much as I possibly can, I also need to get up and move and take care of myself and take care of my son. And what are ways that we can do this all together?